Back to the 2014 North American Challenger Series. It is time for Game 2 between Team 8 and LMQ. And after a dominating Game 1 win, Team 8 is one Nexus away from knocking off the #1 team in the series.
Yeah, and today I learned Hemoplague does affect Baron. It's one of the very few debuffs that does. So, really good on Cali Trolls for that one.
Yeah.
So, just put that in my caster pocket, whip that out someday when nobody knows about it.
Did you know and did you forget that time?
And so, Team 8, they selected lane bullies and
Right.
then knocked LMQ around the entire game. And Slushie, he was pretty Faker-esque on his Riven. He was
That's a good way to put it.
really good up there. You know,
like
he
that.
dodged the ball a couple of times with the Valor. Just really good. He picked up kills on Xiao and Vasily in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then he ended the game with a double kill, and his final stats were 8, 2, and 5. So, you know, not Faker in terms of being alive forever, but he had some
The
flashy
Faker dies.
plays.
We've seen the
It's
Faker
true.
is real video.
It's
so
true.
He does die.
He doesn't use skins either.
That's true.
No. But the most dominating player on Team 8 was, of course, the jungler, Guess. And keep singing his praises
So
for that
big.
one. It was so good. He ran with Vi and beat down LMQ with gank after gank. And he finished with a KDA of 7, 3, and 10. Involved in 17 of the kills, majority for Team 8.
The thing is with that, usually, like you'll see a team like Cloud9, you put them up against anyone, or TSM. Teams that do well usually have just generally good KDAs because you're winning fights, you're picking up assists, you're in the back, you're not dying. But with that, there were kind of like 2-0 kills picked up in the beginning, right? They were kind of fending for themselves. So everybody was actually getting a really nice KDA before it became the team assist, before whatever. Everybody was doing work, and LMQ was having a hard time keeping up.
Oh, yeah, and you were talking about the team synergy with Cloud9 and things like that. Team 8, they're like, LMQ, they fare very well when they group up, and I talked about it at the beginning of the game. If you pick lane bullies and then you all group up at the same time,
They kept a long laning phase.
you're having 5v5s,
Yeah.
but one team has like a 5k, 7k gold advantage in combat stats, which is going to come into play. And even if you misplay a team fight, you still come out on top because you just have so much more raw power in your kits.
Reasons, not reasons, but the ability to make a few mistakes and still find your way into the fight to win. Even like Cali Trolls, especially when you get to the late game, you make a few mistakes. Oh, I'll just pool. Oh wait, I'll just Zanya's. Oh wait, my team is still ready to catch up to me. So I really like the way that Team 8 played that composition. Not seeing Vladimir quite a lot, and he really did big things with Guess roaming around the map.
Oh yeah, especially against somebody like Jarvan, who can lock you up.
Yeah.
Ghost didn't get punished for it at all, and No Name was shut down.
He was
from
trying.
the
He was
start.
trying to focus that top lane quite a bit, like you said. Seeing that Ghost on Vladimir was just kind of like, you actually can't get out of my ult. I am now global taunted towards top lane.
Pretty much.
So we see the bans Lee Sin, Renekton, Lulu, and Nidalee. A few the same, a few new as well.
The Nidalee is actually targeted up at California Trolls. He plays AP Nidalee in the top lane, and it is a little bit of a flex pick, but Slushie hasn't had the greatest showings on it. And no Kassadin ban.
Yeah.
This is 4.2, so this isn't the weaker Kassadin that's been a little nerfed, and yep. So LMQ,
Alrighty.
they have to have a plan for this, because you don't just let Kassadin through unless you're all sitting there very absent-minded. You have to have something else in mind to deal with this, whether it's a 2v1 lane or some type of team that's going to shut that down. And this does kind of change Team 8's strategy from last game, because they picked lane bullies. Kassadin is anything but a lane bully. He's the one who gets bounced around, shoved around. That's why you typically take TP or something very passive, because there's not a lot of kill potential on him until post 6, and then it's really team fight positioning.
Then everybody's afraid.
Exactly. Nobody on the map is safe from Kassadin at that point. He's so annoying to deal with. His Rift Walk on such a low cooldown. Just the mobility, come out of nowhere, force pulse. Saw it earlier today. Even with the nerf Kassadin, very high impact from high on Cloud9.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, this is 4.2, so didn't get those hits yet. Kassadin is still Kassadin. Getting put in that jail cell in the NALCS until now. We see Lucian and Pantheon getting picked up. Pantheon has actually been seeing a hell of a lot of bans in the NALCS. I think Curse has now 10 bans. It's one of the highest amount of bans towards one champion for them against Pantheon.
He's a very destructive laner. Like, he'll just come straight down. I was kind of adverse to playing Pantheon at first as a jungle main. I was like,
It's
no,
like
no,
one
no.
of those, well, if I can't beat him, I play him. I did the same thing with LeBlanc. I felt really bad, but I'm like, I got to try her. Everybody else crushes. That was a few years ago, and I'm happy I did.
I now know how Doublelift felt when he had to pick up Draven, because he constantly bashed that champion. But Pantheon is so strong. His jungle clear is very good, and if they take that TP on Slushie and the Kassadin, it's a lot of global pressure, synergizing the Pantheon with the Kassadin. You can get everybody to the same spot very quickly, contest objectives, drop down on people, create ganks, and LMQ, they're going with almost the same composition here. Vasily once again on Caitlyn. Now they're going to have more on Annie as opposed to the Thresh. For all intents and purposes, it pretty much does the same thing, just a little different. Annie can catch more people out. Xiao going with the Orianna again. Wasn't the greatest showing, but up against a Kassadin, the ranged and clockwork wind-up passive punishes it very early on and can deny some of the farm that would go to
that's what we were talking about. That Ori has such a versatile leveling line or path that she could take. This may be a few in shield and auto attacks to the face of Kassadin all day. It puts him out of lane at level 2 because he cannot take that. We'll see what happened. Vasily picking up the Caitlyn on this one. Team 8 going with the Vladimir again, and LMQ is leaving Ackerman's pick for last. He did not like the matchup he got last time, so we'll see.
It's a good strategy because he got bullied around by California Trolls so much up in the top lane on that Vladimir, and it just had such a high late game impact. And now they're going to pick Ackerman's last champion here and round out this composition. It might be a ball delivery system, but Elise does that herself, hovering over the Jarvan.
That's true.
But I'm going to talk about Team 8 here. Completely different than last game, except for the bottom lane. They have a very high impact ganking jungler. Vi wasn't even banned, and they still don't take it.
That Thresh as well.
Yeah. They just leave it out.
Either team.
Ackerman's going to go with J4 here. So
that's been a while since we've seen that. J4 did make presence in the top lane. He has made presence in the mid lane, but not for a long time.
That's very true. It's a very squishy team unless he builds full tank, but that didn't go too well for No Name last game. And so he can get the ball in there. The wombo combo of this team is the command shockwave dissonance on top of the Cataclysm with the Tibbers on top of it. Team 8's composition, a little bit more late game, but they have an early game aggression ADC and jungler. They're going to try to get Slushie going. And up top, you know, I've never seen this matchup before. Vladimir will typically win this in the early game unless you know, Martial Cadence, the passive of Jarvan, can do some work.
Right, getting that extra damage out. Don't know if he, well, we didn't see him building a ton of health last time. He did get the Rylas, but that was after going for the Gunblade, or Revolver, I should say, and then into the Will of the Ancient. So we'll see what he does. Sweet compositions come out from both sides. I was looking at the Jarvan pick, like you said, as we were looking at Team 8's composition. They got a lot of dashes, things to get out. They got the Lucian, Vladimir. Yeah, they can get him, but Kassadin's going to be in and out of Rift Walk. He's got no worry there.
Well, California Trolls actually goes with Flash this time.
Oh, he did.
Because he's up in that lane against him, so he's going to eat it every time in the laning phase, which will typically last from somewhere like 6 to 12 if it's a prolonged laning phase. So he would eat every single Cataclysm. It wouldn't just be, you know, No Name as a jungler coming in. So he's looking to avoid that this time, and it would be a little higher damage. Ackerman, he realizes that he's going to get bullied around, takes the Crystalline Flask for the sustain.
Same thing with Slushie. He goes a little bit as well into utility. He gets himself some biscuits. So he knows he needs to keep in that lane. Like you said, it's going to be the long haul here. And maybe that will play in favor of Xiao this game. He'll be more than happy to get the tier once again because everything will be on par with the timing of the game. He's not going to have to pick up any pace to a 2-0 Vi or a 2-0 Ribbon.
Yeah, and neither of these teams really have an advantage in the early game. I do give a little bit over to Elise, levels 1 through 3. She has 6 abilities, 7 abilities, 8, more than anybody else. And up top, actually, Ackerman is going to go straight into Cali Trolls. Gets the butt of that trade.
Yeah, he didn't win that. Little advantage. We'll see how they play that one out. It'll be very intriguing.
And post 6, though, Guess actually has an advantage in the jungle. Elise doesn't have that level 6 power spike with the ultimate. You just get an extra Spiderling and a little more damage, whereas Pantheon gets a new ability to his kit. And we saw Guess previously. He will gank every lane. He doesn't care. And okay. So the ward used very early up top. It will not be up until around 4 minutes and 30 seconds. First gank typically comes out at around 3 minutes with some change. And that's going to be up to Callie to try and dodge this gank from No Name if it happens. Dodging a cocoon is fairly easy as Vladimir.
Indeed.
But if he takes a lot of damage from Ackerman early on, we'll have to see.
It's going to be different. He played a big role last time in that top lane. Ackerman's trying his hand at a different champion here, so it's definitely something we want to keep an eye on. He's going to be chugging those potions right away, but Calitrol is more than happy to get the transfusion down. It's not going to hurt too bad. Level 7 and level 9 is really when Vladimir starts to become that lane menace. You just keep transfusing over and over with Tides of Blood.
The cooldown on it is pretty high, the early ranks.
Yep.
Then it gets down to a ridiculously low cooldown where you're constantly transfusing
pull your hair out.
people. And it's really funny, too, because you get to that point where he uses his Q on you, and then you're like, oh, I took a lot of damage, and then you take a step back, and then you're like, oh, wait, no, it's on cooldown. You walk forward, and because you took that moment of hesitation, it's back up.
Yeah, and then he EQs you. Does more damage. 3 minutes in here, things are looking pretty standard. The push is coming from Vasily on Caitlyn with some Peacemakers. In the bottom lane is the junglers, heading over to the red buffs and the blue buffs now. Looks like staying in the jungle here for Guess.
Yep, and they actually ping in the top lane that there should be a ward there, but it's gone. They know the timer on it. Now, No Name Ackerman are going for either an invade or it looks like they're looking top here. And this is the gank we were talking about.
What did he take? Does he have pool yet? No, he does not. Tides of Blood and Transfusion taken 1 and 2.
And that's going to go and cue Guess that he can go ahead and try to gank somewhere, but he walked straight over a ward from Xiao Xiao. He's actually putting himself a little forward, walking back and forth, just wasting his time.
Yeah, he catches that one. Should be all right, though, coming back into the lane. Xiao Xiao playing very safe right now. Even CS in the mid lane as Vasily still has this at, and Maple Street and Toto at level 2. Finally hitting level 3 at that turret, but Moore and Vasily not able to get anything out of some early aggression on that lane favor. What are you doing? Leveling 1 through 1, 2, 3 so far. We'll see where Xiao Xiao goes for level 4. It doesn't look like he's trying to get too much harass in with the auto attacks.
I would argue that Xiao Xiao is being too passive if he's going even with Slushy and CS. The melee Kassadin, able to go toe-to-toe with an Orianna who has a passive auto attack buff. And No Name is actually going to run into Guess here. They're just right over the wall from each other. And Guess is going to be revealed first.
Very, very close.
And he actually stepped out of the bush.
He does show him. For a second, you're hidden in that, but if you do start walking out of the water, you're completely seen, especially if the champion is closer, just a bit closer than the minion wave. So almost
so close.
Both of them trying to come out on a gank. We do see a nice scene played going out onto Caitlyn. Vasily doing what he can to answer back here, and the AD carries doing a perfect job at focus on each other. The support! Oh, more! I don't know if he needed to flash, but it still looked good. He got the kill and first blood for his team. Perseverance.
And speaking of perseverance, they know he doesn't have flash.
Yeah, indeed, pursuing onto the top lane once again. He is forced to use pool. Now he has it. He says that would probably have been something I needed. Grabs that up, No Name. And we see actually Guess 8, the gank failed here, but he's
coming up top.
And Calitrol stays. I thought he was going to soak up the minions, but now he's just kind of...
Well, he's sitting there. No Name is gone.
Yeah.
So if he does get a gank off, it's very hard.
Anticipation.
Vladimir doesn't have gank assistance. He can just slow you. No hard CC. Rarely any soft CC. Barely any soft CC in this kit.
Gets under you. He can slow you a little bit, but you're probably good.
So...
1,000 gold lead so far coming out of this one, around 6 minutes in the game. Xiao Xiao being aggressive towards and under the turret. Good shield on that shot there. We can see the sphere being leveled up by Shlushi, level 3 on that Q. No Name going through, actually leveling up his Q as well.
Yeah, it's typically what you do on Elise. You'll take the W first for the Skittering Frenzy, Volatile Spiderling. Actually, he's coming here onto Slushy. And
hey, just before he's level 6. Good damage going on to that, but not enough level 6 either for Xiao Xiao. No ulti, no kill.
Yeah, all No Name's getting his flashes across the map. And his ganks have actually been a little haphazard. They've been very kind of, I'm walking sluggish. Very sluggish.
Less definitive than last game at least.
Straight in. Just, I'm here and there's a cocoon. And if you don't dodge it, oh, that's cool. I get a lot of damage and your flash.
Yeah, they're biding their time until they get level 6 on teammate side. LMQ is trying to say we need to activate a few things here, and now once level 6 hits, Team 8's going to be all over the map. You got man drops coming in. You're going to have Slushy rifting all over the place. He also has teleport as well, so he'll be right in that fight sooner than you think.
So Slushy used his teleport there, was not able to pick up a core item like a complete catalyst or a tier,
Just pieces.
kind of help that scaling get started, because as soon as you pick up the tier, then it'll start accumulating. Same with Rod of Ages. If you don't get those, it just adds more time on to what it takes. He is in a good spot, though, with his CS. But I do want to point out that Xiao, we were talking about what is he leveling. He's leveling up his Q first. So different than last time. You were talking about wave clear. Now he just wants to harass and move the ball around.
With the movement of Slushy, so much mobility on the other team, that damage would be much more present. He can offer a lot of ball utility as well with shields. We'll see what he can do. Level 6 is in the mid lane. Slushy, like you said, not really being able to finish anything. We shouldn't see him going too aggressive in damage, but I'm sure LMQ is liking this game much more now.
Oh, yeah. They have just accumulated a 1.3k gold lead
Yeah.
solely from one kill, which had 1 assist on it, but the CS that they've garnered all across the board. It's a completely different composition, and leaving Kassadin open may have been part of their strategy to bait teammate into a non-early aggressive composition. And they're going for Dragon, but teammate sees this.
There's a quite early damage on that coming from LMQ as they rotated, and I really liked what Xiao did. He took the lane, instead of making it, you know, diagonal, he turned it into a different diagonal up and down the river, so he had kind of goal position on the Dragon, if you will. Slushy really couldn't do anything to get there, so the little movements off the ball that LMQ is doing is way better this game, and it's already starting to surmount them a bit of a lead. 1 kill, but that's on more. We were saying the support's picking up a few too many. We'll see if they can stop that in this game.
Ackerman going full damage up in that top lane. Doran's Blade for a little more HP and damage. And then he has the pickaxe. Might be a Tiamat first item for the Jarvan. Go ahead and clear those waves out, which is something he typically lacks or would have to spend mana to do.
Right.
So it's good that he gets something like that. But he's bullying around Cali Trolls this game, up about 20 CS on him, where Vladimir's typically the lane bully. Even against Renekton, he was pushing him around, clearing all over his face. And now a J4 of all people is able to go toe-to-toe. And it actually pass him.
And one thing, both these teams want a late game, and Jarvan's building damage now. He can get tanky, but neither team has that tank, a tank in any lane.
That's absolutely true. The only real thing that's kind of close to that is Jarvan's Golden Aegis. That's about it.
Maybe once he gets the Tiamat finished, Cali Trolls will be pretty healthy, getting that Rylai's again, but they're gonna be pretty fast fights, I'm feeling, if all this front end damage.
Fast fights.
Grand Skyfall, that's what we were looking for. The silence from Slushy makes Xiao have to be in the fight. He's doing what he can to get it out, but there's just too much chaos from both Guess and Slushy.
No Name up top misses the cocoon.
Oh, Cali Trolls still has the Hemo Plague. He goes down, the Ignite, still burning though. Wait, tower shot, and it's not enough.
And they trade 1-for-1 across the board. The silence on Kassadin is something that in 4.3 got reduced. The duration on it was previously 2.5 seconds. We saw it come to fruition there. Throws it onto Xiao, cannot flash while that is on you. And Pantheon just sets Guess up for a great gank straight into the stun. And it's a good shockwave to try and counter it. Got a little bit of damage on them. But No Name, with the immediate action, when you know where the enemy jungler is, you know you can't be counter-ganked. So immediately goes top and helps get that Jarvan more damage.
Okay, also, Slushy trying to get that Jarvan and get him killed as well. Goes up the top lane, doesn't find much, and also leaves the wave for Cali Trolls. Says, yeah, you can have your own wave. I won't push it. Xiao in the mid lane, and something Slushy has done as well. He always leaves his turret on pretty formidable waves. The siege wave crashing in there, and he's not going to be there for this next one either.
He's going to miss a lot of CS. Orianna, Xiao. 94.
Yeah, that was even just up to like 50s, and then the roam started. Now it's not at all.
Yep. Slushy has his TP. Still no Rod of Ages or tier completed. Has the components of the ROA, but a lot of damage onto this mid turret.
And it's actually a different build as well from Xiao this game. No tier there. It's going to be the Athenes coming out from him, so a little bit more damage, a little bit more magic resist for the fight against Slushy.
Yeah.
And with that Rod of Ages, like you said, coming up almost, he's still got to wait 10 minutes after he has it. So we're looking already at a 22-minute charge Rod. It's going to be farther from here on out.
And the Athenes makes more sense this game. But, oh, yes, taking some damage.
Very nicely done. 1, 2, 3 is what they needed. Slushy, where's the Rift Walk? One more attack, and the Flash Q coming in. Big double kill for No Name, picking up something they did not think they were going to get right off the bat. Cali Trolls does not look like he's in a good spot. He's got the kata. Flag, oh, flashes it. The damage is there. And he flashes back in, having that Cataclysm and the fat flash to double gap close.
LMQ are just taking the reins of this game. The Kassadin not working out for teammate. That first pick, I'm thinking about it more and more, and I'm like, that is what LMQ wanted. They wanted the Kassadin to be picked up so that they aren't pushed in on the early game, and they take an early game composition with the Elise jungle.
Yeah.
And that's what's been setting it up for him. And I was talking about the Athenes a second ago, where it makes more sense because he's up against somebody who does magic damage, where previously he was against a Riven, so the tier made sense because it would have been a wasted stat with the Chalice and the MR. So that's why his build is different this game. And I actually think that the cooldown reduction is definitely going to help him in terms of the ball positioning and the fact that Shockwave will be able to set up these fights more.
Leveling that Q as well, yeah.
And, oh, going straight for the Hydra for Ackerman so he can sustain himself against this
That's what they did.
sustain of Vladimir.
The Jarvan's loving the Hydra.
Just completely dunked him there and didn't even use Ignite. Didn't have it. So much damage and such good ratios on Jarvan that's typically neglected. And I'm sitting here just thinking about it because I love Jarvan as a character in the jungle. I typically build him a little offensive now. We didn't see that from No Name, but now complete polar opposite for Ackerman. Full offense.
And it's so crazy too, you know, credits to Ackerman / Godlike. He had this matchup in his head. He is 104 to 74 CS. He thought this out before he played it. He said, what? Oh, it's going to be Vlad again? Jarvan, I'm not second guessing this. And he has shown that in his play. 2-0-0 in the top lane. No Name 2-0-1. They're kind of getting the same results. But like I said, the same results that Team 8 did last game. And like I said, Zyrene, if one team does so well in competition, sometimes it just flops the other game. And the opposite team gets the same result. And right now, LMQ is definitely getting that result.
I can't help but think it might have a little bit to do with champion select in the process.
Yeah.
The bait into the Kassadin, the last pick of J4, they played that to the T, having T8 show all of their cards, and then setting up Ackerman for whatever he wanted in the top lane.
LMQ again moving fast on the Dragon. I really like this. They get it started with 2 people, and then Vasily will leave the lane if he has to, and then mid leaves the lane. It's too late if you're alerted when Dragon's at half health. LMQ's been playing that really well.
Yeah, that's always something where you're like, oh, they're going to go do Dragon, and it's already gone.
Ooh.
2-level advantage here for Ackerman.
Yeah.
Something we didn't see previously in the last game, despite the lead that Team 8 had accumulated for themselves. It was the CS that was keeping LMQ in the game. And now he's 40 up on Vlad.
40 up and all up in their jungle right now. Ooh. A little crazy there for Zhao Zhao. He took the long way around in the low road, and it looks like he had to blow his flash as well.
That's how badly he wanted blue.
Yeah. Looks like they locked that down for themselves. We'll see where he can go. 2 blue buffs now. No Name and Zhao Zhao rocking those. A lot of damage to come out there. Uh-ohs. Yeah, that's not going to be too much. This is going to be...
Oh, he's gone.
The Cali Troll's going down. They should stay for the turret, but they may not have vision on what's coming up behind them. No, they do, because Moore is already there. Great positioning for LMQ.
Yeah, and the last thing you expect at 15 minutes in the game is the support to be top lane. It's a great rotation. They do leave Vasily to duel Maple Street. Worked out for teammate last time. I'm not so sure how it's going to work out this time.
Looking at that bottom lane, 141 to 127. Maple Street definitely not faring as well as he did last game either. Guess 8 was doing a lot more for the team on 5, which we said was left up.
Yeah, they opt for the Pantheon over it, despite the great showing. Not completely sure. His Vi was godlike. The stats and the numbers he had put up, the KDA was ridiculous. And
it still poses a great ball delivery system. I see the dive buddy composition with Renekton coming in, obviously having Riven, having Vi. So it's different. If you don't have the dive buddies, maybe you're not feeling as safe to go in. LMQ doing well for themselves right now, figuring out a way around that last composition of Team 8. It's going to be about a 10,000 gold lead for them now. saw this last game, but LMQ has the lead much earlier.
Yeah, and I do like No Name on Elise more this game than the Jarvan because it has early game damage and gank potential that he's actually been using. Previously, his J4 was shut down fairly easily by a very aggressive jungler.
Yeah.
Didn't let that happen this time. 2-0-2, almost mirroring the performance that Guess had last game.
And I read that wrong. It's a 6,000 gold lead.
Yeah.
Numbers are hard.
God, Ackerman is just taking advantage of this early game lead. 16 minutes, 17 minutes that he's taken over Cali Trolls. They ping him, they know he's there.
Yeah.
So Ackerman's just twiddling his thumbs, and teammates watching him do that.
Silly, not really needing more too much. We saw him left in the bottom lane. Your AD carry can pretty much be left by himself when you're so far ahead. More trying to get just that, as we've been saying for the team. They're going to go ahead and get onto this turret. More last game as well playing Thresh. That was also left up, but they wanted Annie. We'll see if it pays off here. Guess comes in, and Annie does. They throw the Timbers back and get a quick kill onto Guess. Definitely a different game for him. Dodo very low. The Ignite is ticking off on him, but he will stay alive. And it looks like LMQ may find themselves a turret after this.
And LMQ, not the same game as last game. Oh, the stun's going to land.
Maple Street gets hit the cocoon after a very nice consecutive use of the crowd control. Slushy not making any fast moves. Stand still. So does his partner.
Taking complete advantage of that ramp-up time from Kassadin. He has the Rod of Ages completed.
Yeah.
Going to start ticking for him. But this aggression that LMQ has, they're transitioning it into objectives. They've gotten dragons, which they weren't doing last game. And actually, California's trying to turn this around. Onto Ackerman. It's not going to work out too well for him. But LMQ's comp, once again, is much better and more well-rounded than it was previously. And teammate, they can't take advantage or play the same strategy as last game. And they basically fell into the claws of LMQ.
Definitely a different game. Amazing to see it change so quickly. And you were right. Maybe an inkling of that champion select. LMQ really had the idea of what they wanted to do from the get-go. Kassadin pick that was given over, blatantly left up, especially in the 4.2 patch. It's definitely what they wanted, and they are utilizing that pick for Team 8. I know it sounds weird, very well.
It's very smart.
Yeah.
Because what you end up doing is you let them pick their mid laner first, which means they aren't going to last pick it.
Yeah.
Alongside their top laner. So you can figure out what you're going to play against that mid laner with your mid laner, and then they left the top laner for last pick. So they didn't blind pick any of these very important solo lane matchups for them and got what they wanted when they wanted it.
Another big thing we mentioned last game as well was Team 8 picked that entire lane winning composition. This time, not so much. The lane's really going in favor of LMQ. Guess doing what he can here. Shalushi was just on the backside. The rift will be up in a second. It's going to start costing more. It's going to start doing more. And he gets the flash out. Not getting any damage down on that.
Not going to risk it.
Yep.
Flashing early is something you'll see a lot of in competitive play as opposed to solo queue, because you don't want to take the damage, because then it means you can't show up to a fight. Because if Ackerman wants to rotate now, if he had eaten a Force Pulse Null Sphere right now, he wouldn't be able to come into this because he's not tanky.
And having flash down doesn't suck too bad. He's got the flag and drag. He's got Cataclysm. Get back into this fight or out.
Yeah, he's got options.
Options indeed. Two Haunting Guises now coming out. LMQ focusing a bit of penetration in the middle of their kits. You see, wow, interesting. Zhao Zhao with Ignite this game instead of Barrier, but he goes for the Merc Dreads.
It's because he knew that there wasn't kill potential from Slushy. Kassadins don't bring Ignite. They don't have a lot of burst until the very, very late game. And by that point, if you're Orianna, you're going to be shielding yourself and surviving. And now this is going to go over to Team 8. But LMQ, they're pushing up the lanes right now with a 1-4 split.
It's kind of hard to stop. They're going to get good gold on Dragon. Once the average level of the game is 15, that's when it's at max gold. We're about 11 to 12 right now, so it's still worth it for them to get themselves out there and get that gold. But they are losing base, and they are losing base fast. 5-0 in turrets. They haven't reached the inhibitor turrets yet with damage, but they are ready and poised to.
And it's 9K gold lead here for LMQ.
Yeah. Now it's getting up to 10,000.
Yeah, it's getting up there. It's getting up there very quickly. Not as explosive of a game in terms of kills.
Yeah,
because the aggression early from Team 8 isn't there this time. They're going to have to wait for Slushy to get going and then get team fights off the back of his just immense Kassadin. But that's going to take a while, especially since they're so far behind at this point in the game. And LMQ, they have the ability to even this up. I'm going to take a step back here and talk about what this means for both teams. LMQ was first in the last spring series. If they don't continue on and they walk away with just 2 points, they will not be, or it's very hard for them to be, in the top 2 spot and get that first round bye in the postseason of the Challenger. So it will be a lot more difficult to have to play an extra round. Whereas Team 8, if they only walk away with 2 points right now, it's almost impossible for them to make it to the postseason. It'd be extremely difficult. So basically, Team 8's LCS dreams are on the line right now.
Yeah.
And LMQ, it's not as much, but the first round bye does mean a lot. Especially with the way they've been looking and LMQ giving up some games. If you aren't on your game that day, you give up 2 games in a row, then you're out and you have to go home.
It's definitely any given day in the LCS. The best of 1 is huge, but in the best of 3, you get to kind of test things out. Get to kind of flash away from kills that would rather happen as well once you feel out your opponent, and that's exactly what Vasily doing in the bottom lane. Maple Street, nice upper hand, 180 CS to 191, but still with that Triforce out, he's able to put out a good bit of front-end damage. Made Vasily change his mind.
And all of LMQ is grouped up around that Baron minus Vasily, who just took a lot of harass, and he's healing up off of camps with the Bloodthirster. Guess has the Grand Skyfall available? And now LMQ sitting on a pink ward.
Yeah.
They have one at Baron too, so they swept that area. They're looking for a sneaky engage here.
Dodo just pinged it and said, I want to go clear things. Dodo, your team's fighting behind you. Turn around. Actually, don't. Keep running. Beeline it away. Quickest way away from your opponent is a straight line, and I don't think he has much more straight line to run. The wall's in front of him. Oh, wow. Whoa. He gets the Q out, or the E out, rather. Oh, but he does have to QQ in the end.
It was pretty flashy.
It was flashy indeed.
But it was good by LMQ to
Very
set
bright.
up. It was shine bright. If you're going to go down in a blaze of glory, Dodo. And he does, too.
Yeah.
And now LMQ set their sights on Baron. Grand Skyfall still available for Guest, but he's not going to be able to get there in time with the smite.
Oh. But we wanted him to.
Yeah, it would have been nice.
Would have been cool.
He was
Bottom
dead.
turret. It's going to go down. Yeah. We wanted him to.
That'll definitely put a damper on you taking Baron.
You just fall out of the sky as just a ragdoll body and lay on the ground. Like, here. Can't smite while you're dead, though. Can only smite during other suppressions. Or not suppressions, other crowd controls, I should say.
Yeah, minus suppression.
Minus, yeah, that worked out backwards.
Woo.
You see red buff getting
I knew what you meant.
back and forth. We'll have it going over to Guess 8 right now. 10-1, 25 minutes into this game. I'm going to say 25. I round up very heavily. And it is the 10,000 gold lead. Hey, 5-1 in turrets. And LMQ looking very good this game. A little more definitive than Team 8 was. They kept getting their gold lead, and it was more kills than what they wanted on structures and objectives. It looks like LMQ is going to make this one right as rain quite soon. We'll be into Game 3 unless Team 8 can really start to tilt the scales.
Yeah, and Guess, now he's basically having the performance that No Name did last game. And No Name took Guess. Took his essence, is like, I'm going to go godlike 3-0-5. This is very reminiscent. At one point, Guess was involved with 8 of the 10 kills that Team 8 had. And now this game, 3-0-5 for No Name, involved in 8 out of the 10 kills for LMQ. Making plays here. These playmaking junglers definitely suit No Name's style more. And I talked about it last game where we saw him on Kha'Zix and these things that would get kills for himself and assists for his teammates while they would get CS and just create this big snowball that if you fight LMQ in a team fight, their coordination and their gold is higher. And now Team 8, they don't really have a lot going for them here, and the objectives are slowly being wrestled from them.
So crazy LMQ is able to do this, shake off the mentality of last game in which they were pummeled down and now deliver the same medicine to Team 8. Team 8 can't do anything but keep swallowing spoonful after spoonful right here. LMQ looking to do it again. Now the inhibitor turret to take damage. They have Baron, and they still have a second tier in the bottom lane to take down, but it's not pushed, so they're going with what the priority can give them. Cali Trolls saving himself the pool, but they do lose quite a big ultimate to defend this turret. Hey, 3-man show! Whoa! That was gigantic. Ackerman coming up with a triple kill instantly on the fight. A shockwave from Zhao to shock the galaxy on that one, and the game's going to LMQ.
That wombo combo is just enhanced by the fact that he has a Hydra and stacks more damage on top of it. Triple kill for him, 7-0-1. And LMQ are going to take game 2 right now and go to a game 3, picking up the second game of the series.
I'm telling you, Zyrene, 90% of the time when a team wins that hard, it just happens on the other side. It's so crazy. It's like a 13-2 round in CS, and then you lose the pistol round in the early game, and it's everything.
You got to come back.
It's so crazy how much that happens.
This time, they weren't just sitting on money because of a pistol round.
Nope. They were sitting on their own plays. So good. And really, if you say it again, their pistol round was champion select.
Yes.
The picks, they allowed Cassidy to go through. This is 4.2, but then they were just like, Cassidy can be there. We're going to work around him.
Yeah, they did that perfectly. And LMQ, from start to finish, champion select to Nexus explosion, they had teammates' number.
That was crazy.
All throughout. And it's complete inverse, like you're talking about, just flipping it over. Game 3, is it going to swap back, or is LMQ going to keep the momentum?
Well, we're definitely going to swap sides, but
Yeah.
there definitely needs to be momentum for both teams. I'm not sure that Team 8 is really understanding yet what happened, how that happened so quickly. Maybe they do. Maybe they're like, it was the picks. We tried to do that, and we kind of got sunk right into it. Maybe they're right on top of it. Next game's going to show us.
So I'm curious, because the cast and ban was let through.
Mm-hmm. What
What if they let the cast and ban through again? Teammate says, I'm not falling for that, and LMQ pick it up.
They take it.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Well-
Zhao Zhao likes the late game, so it'll play into him. We've got to take a quick break, but when we return, LMQ looks to complete the comeback and take out Team 8, while Maple Street and crew look to pull off the upset. Don't go anywhere. The 2014 North American Challenger Series. We'll be right back.